Call the meeting to order, the McHenry County Zoning Board of Appeals. Today, purpose for our hearing is application number 2024-011. This is a request for an A1 agricultural district to A2 agricultural district. The PIN number is part of 16-36-100-002. The address is 11317 Getty Road, Marengo, and the applicant is Marion Brenning, trustee of Marion Brenning. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes.
Trust 102, Marion Brenning, Linda O'Connor, and Lori Pfaffinger, trustees of Arthur Brenning Trust 101. This parcel is located, it's a 3.447 acre tract on the west side of Getty Road, approximately 1,600 feet south of Interstate 90 in Riley Township. At this time, I'd like the board members to introduce themselves as well as the township in which they reside. Starting on my right, Mr. Cozen.
Robert Cozen, Algonquin Township.
Kurt Schnabel, Riley Township.
Vicki Gartner, Nunda Township.
I'm Linnea Kuster from Alden Township.
Charlie Eldridge, Richmond Township.
Bill Kernick, Grafton Township.
Mary Donner, Greenwood Township.
This petition has been reviewed and the following items have been received prior to today's scheduled hearing. The publisher's certificate of publication from a newspaper is dated March 13, 2024 and thereby meets ordinance requirements. The affidavit of posting was signed and the date posted was March 14, 2024 and thereby meets ordinance requirements. The affidavit of mailing was signed and the date mailed was March 8, 2024 and thereby meets ordinance requirements. The survey has been checked against the petition, the legal notice, and the publication in the newspaper, and all three match. The filing fees have been paid, the endangered species consultation was not required for this petition, and the McHenry County Soil and Water Conservation District report has been received. The way the hearing works today is you'll give your testimony, you'll have questions from the board, and then any questions from the staff, then we'll hear the staff report, and if there's any public here, we would hear from them, but otherwise, then you'll just have your closing statement and we'll be done. So at this time, I'll swear in anyone who's going to testify. If you're going to be talking besides your attorney, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony you give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, I'll turn it over to you, Jim.
My name is Jim Stoddard. I'm an attorney from Sycamore, Illinois, licensed to practice law in the state of Illinois. I represent the petitioners, Marion Brenning, and who's the patron of the family, who's not here today, but her two daughters, Lori and Linda, are here. And Lori, I think, is going to be the one who primarily will be talking, but we did have Linda sworn under oath as well. So we'll start out. Lori, are you one of the, well, Lori, would you state your name first, please?
I'm Lori Pfaffinger.
And what's your address?
I live at 510 Stanford Drive in Marengo.
And are you one of the petitioners?
Yes, yes I am.
And are the other petitioners your mother, Marion Brenning, and your sister?
Yes, correct.
And as trustees, all of the three of you own the property, 120 acres actually altogether. They're with the subject property and the adjacent property.
Right.
And the property, you've caused a survey to be made of the parcel here, 3.447 acres out of the 120 acres. Is that correct?
That's right.
And was the property in question, the 3.447 acres, is improved with a residence and certain farm outbuildings?
That's right, yes.
And I presume maybe this is where you grew up.
It is, it is.
But time goes by and you and your siblings have moved away and your father has passed away and your mother no longer is able to reside on these premises.
Yes.
And so you've determined that the best way for this property to be used would be for a residence for someone, but
Yes.
but your family, you don't have somebody who wants to live there at this time.
No.
And so you've looked at the zoning ordinance and the property currently is zoned A1 agricultural district, is that correct?
Yes.
And you've realized that the property perhaps can be rezoned to A2 agricultural district as a residence in the rural area.
Correct. We'd like someone to live there and would like to live there.
And as far as you know, is the,
Excuse me, apparently we're having some technical problems with our recording. Could we pause this for a few moments and go get a physical recorder? Would that be acceptable?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the purpose
Project.
for our hearing today is application 2024-011. We have all the legal description and everything on our staff report. We already read all the legal requirements into the record, but it wasn't recorded, but we have it in writing. So we'll just go ahead, and everyone's been sworn in. We'll just go ahead and turn it over to the attorney to present their case.
yes, well, as I once said before, my name is Jim Stoddard. I'm an attorney from Sycamore, Illinois, representing the petitioners here. And so we'll just go ahead and start. I'll call as our first person, Lori Pfaffinger. Lori, would you state your name and spell it for the record?
My name is Lori Paffinger, and it's Laurie. Last name is Paffinger, Pfaffinger.
And Lori, where do you reside?
I live at 510 Stanford Drive in Marengo, Illinois.
And Lori, you are one of the petitioners here. You are one of the trustees.
Yes, I am.
And the property is owned by two trusts, your father's trust and your mother's trust, is that correct?
Yes,
And your mother is the trustee of her trust, and you and your mother and your sister are co-trustees of your father's trust, is that
Yes.
correct? And the two trusts together own 120 acres there, more or less, is that correct?
that's right.
But you've caused a survey to be made of the 3.447 acre parcel that is shown and is the subject of this hearing, is that correct?
Yes,
And the 3.447 acres is improved with a residence and farm out buildings.
yes,
And we've already been through this once, but you once resided here, is that correct?
yes,
So you grew up on the property, you and your siblings have moved away, and your father has passed away, and your mother is no longer able to reside on this property.
that's right.
And so the three co-trustees have determined that perhaps the best use of this property, the best thing would be to divide it off from the rest of the farm and have it available for somebody else to use as a residence.
Yes,
So you've filed a petition here asking that the property be rezoned from A1 agricultural district to the A2 agricultural district.
yes,
And that's so that the 3.447 acre parcel can be used as a parcel on its own by someone as their residence.
correct.
Now, to the best of your knowledge, the residence has existed there for many years. Do you know approximately how long?
1958.
I was in first grade.
Okay. Okay. And so it's been there for many years. It's all in the past been used as part of the agricultural operations along with the outbuildings.
Yes,
And if it's now rezoned to A2 agricultural district, you don't see any reason why that would cause any problem with the other remaining agricultural properties in the area.
no, everything's gonna stay the same.
And in fact, the trusts own the adjacent property to this and would continue to use it as agricultural property.
Yes,
And you understand that the zoning laws might otherwise require that the buildings be sold with 40 acres, and you think the property has greater value as a standalone 3.5 acre parcel than as part of a 40 acre parcel.
yes, we want to keep the farmland.
You want to keep the farmland yourself anyway for use as
Yes.
farmland. So the present use of the property is beneficial to the health, safety, and welfare of the public, is that correct?
Yes,
But the use that's proposed wouldn't really change that in any way, is that correct?
correct.
The property is and has been suitable for use under the A1 agricultural district, but it's not going to be really for your purposes because neither you nor a member of your family is farming the land for the farming operation.
That's correct.
And so, in your opinion, it would be best that property be divided and sold off as a residence for someone who would like it for that purpose.
Yes,
How long has the property been vacant as a residence?
since last August.
And have you had inquiries Have you had anyone requesting whether or not the property might be available for sale?
Yes, we have, without even advertising it.
And as far as you know, the proposed use for A2 Agricultural District is compatible with the zoning ordinances of the county of McHenry.
Yes.
I think maybe that's all we have, but we're ready to try to answer any questions you might have.
There are just a few on the standards for amendment, Jim. It's in the packet. They're for approval standards for map amendments. I think you covered most of them, but there's the comprehensive plan, I think is the only one maybe that you didn't.
Okay. And so Lori, to the extent that you're familiar with the ordinances of McHenry County, the proposed use A2 Agricultural District would be compatible with the comprehensive plan that the county has?
Yes.
We'll start with questions on my right. Mr. Cozen?
I have no questions.
Mr. Schnabel?
Just one at this point. I'm just curious how you arrived at 3.447 acres and made the lot line basically zero to the back of the barn.
There's no doors on the back of that larger Morton building.
Yeah.
So that's why it's actually, what is it, it's probably like 20 feet behind there is where it actually is.
Okay.
But there's no doors on that side at all. So that's why, and that's how that grass has always been. There's a field right there.
It's difficult to read the lines versus what's superimposed on the picture. So if you say there's a little bit of buffer there, I'm
Yeah,
good with
I
that.
think the one that shows you right there, what's it say, 20 feet?
Yeah, we have a plat here, and it's 20 feet at the closest point.
Yeah. The only door on that shed is in the front by that drive.
That answers my question. Thank you.
Ms. Gardner?
I have no questions.
Mr. Eldridge?
What provision of the Plat Act are you using?
I think we would be using, not the first one, because it's less than 5 acres.
Yeah,
We would be dividing into no more than 2 parcels of the particular parcel that existed on July 17, 1959, not involving any new streets or easement of access. We do intend to record the plat as well, which would make it comply, I think, with number 3.
okay, thank you very much. That's all I have.
Mr. Kernick?
No questions.
Ms. Donner?
No questions.
And my questions have been answered as well. Staff have any questions?
No questions.
We'll move to staff report.
So the property is surprisingly zoned A1 agricultural. There is a small A2 roughly a little less than a quarter mile away from the subject property. The surrounding land uses are primarily agricultural with some scattered residents along the Getty Road there. There is an inactive mine to the east of the subject property. Future Land Use has this property designated as a office research industrial area. So on the face of it, this use would not be compatible with that. However, it would not impede development of the property in the future should office research or industrial uses want to come into this area. Staff has no concerns with the rezoning to A2.
Does anyone have any questions for staff? Okay, do you have any closing statement?
Just we think we're really not proposing any change in the use of the property, but what we're doing is making it so that there would be more people that would be interested in using it as a residence, and we think that's for the benefit of the public, certainly for the benefit of the petitioners, and we think in all ways it's compatible with the comprehensive plan that the county has, and therefore ask that the petition be granted.
Okay. So at this time, we'll close the hearing portion of the meeting and I'll open the voting portion. This again is petition 2024-011. It's a request for an A1 agricultural district to the A2 agricultural district. The applicant, Marion Brenning, trustee of Marion Brenning Trust 102, Marion Brenning, Linda O'Connor, and Lori Pfaffinger, trustees of Arthur Brenning Trust 101. At this time, I would entertain a motion for approval.
I move acceptance of the petition as proposed.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Mr. Eldridge, seconded by Ms. Gardner. Discussion, Mr. Eldridge?
Yes, it is the public policy of McHenry County to wherever possible preserve farmsteads when they are no longer needed by the farmer. Over the course of the last half century or so, farms have gotten larger and larger, and the number of families residing on acreage like this as an operating farm has declined, with more and more acreage being managed by a single farming operation, family or otherwise. That has made a great many of these farmsteads available, and generally the farming families have no interest in becoming landlords, whereas there are a great many people who would like a small acreage in a farming community. This area is entirely surrounded for really several miles by agricultural uses. There is a quarry not that far away, but there is no sort of intensive use of a commercial, industrial, or residential type anywhere close to this property. It fits absolutely squarely within the A2 approach. I believe all the standards have been met. I believe the Plat Act is being complied with. The only comment I would make is the 2030 plan designated this property for future commercial or industrial, and that, but the 2030 plan, as comprehensive plans generally, is not intended to be parcel specific, and it was really just putting a lump over an area, really focusing on the hope at that time that there would be an interchange at 23 and 90, which did come to pass. I don't think anyone in this room is going to be alive when and if this parcel is developed in a commercial fashion. I know I certainly won't be. So in my view, that designation simply is not relevant here, and I will support the petition.
Mr. Cozen?
I also will be supporting the petition for the reasons given.
Mr. Schnabel?
I will as well.
Ms. Gardner?
And I will.
Mr. Koenig?
I have nothing to add other than I hope to be around a lot longer.
Ms. Donner?
I do too.
And I agree with the comments of my colleagues. I'm in favor of the petition. So I'll call for the vote. Mr. Eldridge?
Yes.
Ms. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Cozen?
Yes.
Mr. Schnabel?
Yes.
Ms. Donner?
Yes.
Mr. Koenig?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. This will go to the county board, 7-0 vote for approval. This time the hearing is closed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.